I have Contra games that I could play.
Okay, I think we're back. Are we back?
Is it working?
No.
Things going?
I hope so. I don't know what happened there. That was bizarre. I lost my voice chat, the stream stopped, like everything just sort of broke all at once. That was bizarre. So Mike's here now, huh?
Yeah. Also, you're echoey in Discord.
You bet I'm here.
I'm hearing an echo too, but so I think it's from somebody who has their headphones or speakers too loud. Possibly.
Flop, flop.
I did not want to trade that fire for that spread, but oh well.
Is the stream happening again? Are we on the internet?
Should be.
I don't see anything. But sometimes the YouTube thing is kind of...
You have to refresh the page.
Yeah, I see a stream.
Okay.
No, wait, hang on. The stream health is saying video output low.
There we go. It lives.
Good.
It does.
Good. Ugh. Anyway, so how you doing, Mike?
I'm not too badly. Spent a whole bunch of time out in the midday sun.
Yeah.
At
You
the,
know, only
the
mad
local
dogs and
amusement-
Englishmen go out in the midday sun.
Well, I guess I'm one of those. I'm Mad Dog McCree, here to liven up your stream.
No, boy. There's a Contra joke in there somewhere, because Bill's codename was given as Mad Dog in the U.S. instruction book. Yeah.
So how many Contras have you played so far?
Oh boy. Played some arcade Contra, played some NES Super C, and now I'm playing Game Boy Operation C. So this is...
It's been a very long time since I played this game, but I've heard people say that it's actually pretty okay.
Yeah, it's good. This is a good Contra.
As good as a Game Boy Contra can be.
Which I think is
It actually,
pretty good.
I was gonna say, it looks like it controls more or less the way Contra should, so that's
It does, yeah.
puts it head and shoulders above the average Game Boy action game.
Yes.
Yeah, you do have a super tiny playing field, but the graphics are pretty good.
Yeah, I like it. I think this is a very solid Contra that doesn't get its due, in my opinion. This is the one. This is sort of like Belmont's Revenge in the Castlevania collection. Like, I think that people who maybe never played these Game Boy installments are gonna find something that's actually pretty dope.
Better than they expect.
Yeah. So this is the final. This is the kind of the final boss. The final boss is actually a brain in a jar, but this is like.
Oh, it's a robot suit person.
Yep, it is.
I don't know, I'm sure I
And-
finished this game in the 90s, but I don't remember much about it.
Yeah,
It has
I
the
mean,
Super C fire gun, right?
It does have the Super C fire gun. Yes. Sure does.
Does it have any kind of Contra code?
It does. In the US version, it gives you a stage select. In the Japanese version, it gives you 10 lives. Similar to Super C. But in the Japanese version, the stage select is there from the off, so that's why it doesn't.
What a ripoff, man. Getting shafted in North America.
Yeah. Which is weird, because somebody earlier mentioned the rental thing, but, like, I don't remember any stores that rented Game Boy games. Like, I don't remember Game Boy rentals being a thing. Maybe they were in some places, but...
There was a small local shop that rented Game Boy games.
I don't know that I ever saw that.
They only had a few of them, though.
I wouldn't think a lot of places would want to rent Game Boy games. It would be so easy for kids to lose them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't remember ever seeing portable games of any stripe for rent. Now, I mean, if you have GameFly, you can get portable games from them, but like in the days of the actual rental store, I definitely do not recall.
GameFly still sends like Vita games and things and 3DS.
I don't.
I guess 3DS is
Motherfucker.
really dead.
I think you can still get some GBA games from GameFly, honestly.
Dang.
But yeah, you can still get. I mean, I don't have a Vita, so Vita listings don't by default come up for me when I'm browsing GameFly because like you tell it what systems you have, and that's sort of what it presents.
So you
to
don't know what you're missing.
What am I missing?
nothing these days.
Gravity Rush. I guess. What?
Literally nothing.
The Vita was cool for like a year and a half before the Switch existed, when you could get cool indie games on the go.
I
I still want a Vita. They never. I was waiting for the price to kind of bottom out, but the
Yeah, they never really did.
Yeah, there's a limited enough supply that the price never really dropped far enough to.
There was like a bundle
Worth
at the
my
end.
while.
I think there was a Borderlands bundle, was one of the last ones they put out, and that thing just kind of sat there and never really got cheaper. And the problem is, even if you get a Vita on the cheap, you're never going to get a memory card cheap, so either you have to hack it or else you have to pay like $100 for a decent memory card. It's kind of the one real big issue I have with this system. I like mine. It's a very nice handheld system.
Yeah.
And it does one thing better than any other handheld system I've ever owned, which is play a bunch of PlayStation 1 games. Which I'm glad it can do, but it turns out I don't actually want to do that all that often.
I was gonna say,
I enjoyed replaying Jumping Flash and Jumping Flash 2 on there, and I'm like, Jumping Flash.
I still haven't gotten around to Jumping Flash. I've heard good things.
I like Jumping Flash. Jumping Flash is good.
It's good. It's very, I don't know, it's very of its time, but it's very good. Very good.
It is
I mean,
of its
being a
time,
first-
but it actually works better than a lot of other first-person. I mean, there are a ton of first-person platforming games, but the platforming in that game is better than, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's some stiffness to the play, but it holds up. It's just, like, some of the things you would expect to be there, like different weapons and things like that. Just kind of arcane.
There
guess
are
it's
some
itself
different
more as a
weapons, aren't there?
platformer.
There's like the different kinds of fireworks you can pick up and stuff, right?
Yeah, you have like sort of like grenade kind of power up. You have like little spinny things that sort of like a spread shot. You have like little rocket. Mostly just shoot beam. Robots like that. What's up?
This is. I should just take the death and start over at this point, because this is.
That one little guy's got your number, man.
Well, I keep losing my power up, and I'm honestly about to maybe switch controllers here in a second. That was unintentional.
Are you on PC or PS4?
Switch.
Oh, Switch.
I have my 8-bit do SNES controller plugged, synced up. But
Yeah, those are pretty good. I've got one that I use the. Although it looks like a Famicom. Same thing. It looks like the same.
Yeah, because Famicom controllers look better.
yeah, this is the Super Famicom version. I got it because I got the Super Famicom style Super NT. So this was.
I forgot that you had a Super NT. Haven't seen you use that much. I guess the Mister's kind of taken over on the FPGA retro world.
I mean, kind of, but the like Kevtriss's cores are better than generally what the hobbyist community is putting together. The Genesis core on the Mister is really good. I don't know if it's as good as the one on the Mega SG because I haven't played a Mega SG myself. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I use my Super NT when I play Super Nintendo games. I mean, that's what I play them on. So,
They haven't added a lot of stuff like save states to that core, have they?
to which on the
To the Super NT. Well, I mean,
no, the Super
I
NT
guess
is
any of
trying
them.
to be the Super NT is trying to be a Super Nintendo in the most like faithful way possible. So I don't really think save states are going to be a thing. Most of the modern save state stuff is stuff that I've come across from like the flash cart that I'm using. Like my NES flash cart has a save state thing.
Yeah.
That's pretty great.
I'm still hunting for a good way to play the Metroid Zelda randomizer on Super Nintendo.
I don't know. I don't have an SD2 SNES, so I don't know if that works.
That is supposed to be like the ultimate way, I think.
Right. So that
It plays on original hardware, but the problem is I need some way to save the game because it takes me too long to finish a run.
I don't know if the SD2 SNES does save states or not. It might. That's a pretty ridiculous piece of kit, but I don't have one. I have the OG Super EverDrive, which does not have really any of the add-on chip support that the advantage to the SD2 SNES or the SD2 SNES Pro is you can play. There's one add-on chip that's not supported, and I think it's all like shogi games that use it anyways. So, like,
Because they just couldn't pack all that shogi action in without using extra.
there's something about chess algorithms, I guess, or I mean, shogi.
Oh,
isn't
really? It was
exactly
the AI.
chess. I believe so. I believe that was what it was about. I've only done cursory research into it, but it'll play, Star Ocean and Street Fighter Alpha 2 and Doom and Star Fox and
What blows my mind is that the SD2 SNES lets you play Super Nintendo games on the internet.
wait, it lets you play Super Nintendo games on the internet? Apparently this is not a feature that I've familiarized myself with of the
Well, so there are lots of, like in the randomizing world, there are things called multi-world randomizers where you take all the randomizer stuff that you'd have in 2 or 3 people's games and you spread them out among all the players.
Okay.
So if we were both playing Zelda together, I could find your Master Sword, for example, in my game.
Okay.
And then when I do, it sends something, from the SD2 SNES, which is running on real hardware,
Right.
through a USB cable into the computer across the internet over to your Super Nintendo where it says, okay, here's your Master Sword.
Huh.
It's pretty cool stuff.
That is pretty cool. I didn't know it did that.
There's also, have you seen crowd control races on Twitch?
Yes.
You can do that with, Super Nintendo games running on original hardware.
Took my hand off the controller, put it back in the standard position, which is not the default controls on this, and jumped into a laser beam instead of shooting. That was clutch. I'm just totally blowing this run. This is okay. Sorry, Mike. You were I don't know.
That's all right.
The flashcart world is really interesting, and I think that there's obviously. I mean, I have 4 of them, so I think there's a lot of value in those. If you want to have the original hardware experiences and not pay a gazillion dollars for
All the games.
all the rare games, and they just Terra Onion just announced the Mega SD, which is a big old flash cart that has an FPGA in it that clones what the Sega CD does.
Now, that's impressive to me. I didn't realize that FPGAs could do that level of sophistication easily.
I don't think they can do it easily.
No.
I think that probably took quite a bit of work to get to doing that. But also that's generally where a lot of people have said that, like Kev Trist has talked about what's generally feasible, and he usually talks about you might be able to get a PlayStation out of an FPGA currently,
Yeah.
but it would be expensive. you know, and like 16-bit is kind of where it tops out. So Sega CD, what the fuck? Sega CD is doing some stuff. You know, that's the interesting thing. The Sega CD as compared to the PC Engine CD, like all the PC Engine CD did was literally add more storage space by way of the CD player.
So just like soundtracks and more cutscenes and things.
Right, and then it added system cards that added additional RAM. But the Sega CD actually has more
Processing
hardware in it. Yeah, it actually adds more stuff, more processing power and that kind of stuff. Like it can do the Sega CD. Like you can look at certain Sega CD games that do like sprite scaling and stuff way better than even the Super Nintendo could do. Like the Adventures of Batman and Robin on Sega CD is basically just a racing game. And and if you play that though, it's like Mario Kart and F-Zero look kind of amateurish by comparison in terms of like the 3D effect and scaling stuff that's going on there to create the racing atmosphere, for lack of a better term. I mean, it's not a racing game; it's a driving game. I guess is more. You're not racing anybody, but
I'm gonna look this up now.
yeah, you should. It looks really good. It's very impressive. And then the 32X added more horsepower as well, which is why you got Sega CD/32X games. Which actually, for the longest time when I was younger and hadn't seen one, like I thought that there was a cartridge and a CD in those games. And there's not. It's just a CD. But while what the CD is processing, it's using the additional horsepower of the 32X, but there's not a cartridge involved. Okay. I am going to pause very quickly to use the restroom. So I'll be back in like 3 minutes, but, talk amongst yourselves. Admire this amazing Game Boy still screen, and I'll be right back.
Hey, so what's up, every people?
Just contraing.
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 I can't really do anything with that word. I'm trying to think of some kind of way that I could denature it, but it's not happening.
Yeah, I don't think that's it.
Have you been playing anything interesting outside of the world of Contra?
I'm hip and with it up on the current trends, and that's why I started playing Hollow Knight.
That's a real good game.
Hello?
Oh, you said Hollow Knight. No, Eric just showed up. We could talk about Hollow Knight.
I thought I was here, but apparently I had something. My microphone connection was loose or something.
It's been a long time since you said anything.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I showed
Eric.
up just in time.
Did you know that Hollow Knight's good?
I had heard that, yes.
Okay. Yes, well, how have you been finding it? Have you made it very far?
I mean, I'm bad at it, but I'm working on it. I just upgraded my nail the first time. That gives
Okay.
me where I am. So that's
Yeah.
where I am. No.
I've played Hollow Knight about 8 times, so I have a very good idea of where you are.
Okay, well, yes, that's what happened. And then I saved. I found a bench after that, and I haven't got back to it.
Okay.
It's been good.
It's a very enormous game, and it does not do a whole lot to point you which way you should be going. And so the first time through, I honestly got a little fed up with it at times, just wondering where the heck I should be looking next. But I think its scope is also part of what makes it so incredible.
Oh, I've definitely seen that. Like, I've definitely gotten to an area and like, is this optional? This is really hard. This isn't.
It might be.
Then I'll like lose my geo, and then I'll be like, I'm done today, and then I'll
Yeah.
be like, I'll go different. Like, oh, okay, good, it was optional.
Yeah. Fortunately, it's not too difficult to get Geo back
Are we talking about Hollow Knight?
for the most part. We're talking about Hollow Knight, yeah.
Yeah.
Hollow Knight's real good.
Did you meet the tall lady that lives in the house that likes to eat leaves?
Yes.
That's my favorite
Very
video
good.
game character of 2017.
Yeah, she's pretty good. Willow? Willow, I think is her name.
I think so, yeah.
Things. I purchased yesterday. But yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I don't know. That's, again, I'm cutting edge. 'Cause I'm just like,
Cutting edge, like the nail edge that you just upgraded.
yeah. I'm just, playing the recent.
Well, I'm happy for you.
I guess the recent hit I did play, I played Gato Roboto.
Oh yeah, I played that too recently.
I'm like, that was fun and short, and maybe I'm feeling like playing these kind of games, and then like Nintendo Switch was having the E3 sale, and I'm like, oh, Hollow Knight's good. Everybody's talking about Silk Song, I'll try it, and I'm like, oh, yeah. It's like people were saying it was good for amazing.
Well, I hope that you'll enjoy it.
Everybody was
I
not
like
lying
Gato
to you about Hollow Knight.
I figured they weren't. It's just people kept talking about it in the same like, oh, it's so hard kind of way, and that.
I didn't.
Well, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, it has a couple hard bits. Especially if you're going to try to get the kind of good ending, there's a couple things you'll have to do that are pretty
Well,
tough. But
if you're gonna get the best ending, it's extremely tough, and like, forget about that. I'm not trying to do that.
Oh, I was
but-
not planning on doing that, but even the bosses I've faced so far, I've tried maybe. I don't know. It takes me a while to get patterns and things like that down, but it hasn't frustrated me yet. But I'm glad.
Yeah, that's it.
And it feels really good.
I think
Yeah.
all the stuff that I felt like was really frustrating was the optional stuff. For the
yeah,
most
no,
part.
to follow the crit path, there's maybe 2 pretty tough bosses on the main path to get the basic ending of the game. All the really hard stuff is optional or super optional.
Yeah, I think the best ending is nonsense, right? You have to do the god.
Oh well, yeah, that's a new thing. They added that way after the fact. Like,
Right.
I mean, I suppose you could call that the best ending. I was just thinking of the regular. The regular good ending does require you doing some pretty intense stuff, but that I thought was quite fair and fun.
Yeah.
Whereas there
I agree.
are a few beyond that. There are a few even more optional bosses, and they get into a realm that I just can't.
Right.
I can't hack it.
Nightmare King Grim and
Yeah, a bunch of stuff like that.
all of the mighty fights. Like if you fight him to get all the outcomes or whatever, like that's bad news. I didn't want to do that any more than I strictly had to.
I don't know. I just beat him once, and
Yeah,
thought
I
that
just
was
beat him
enough.
once. That's same. I beat him one time because there's an item or there's a story thing. I don't remember. You get something for beating him once, and then beyond that, it's literally just like I hate the attack pattern of this thing. You get something for beating him once, and I guess you get like more story stuff, and if you beat him like 10 times or something, but he gets much harder. So
Ugh. Yeah, don't need that.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess I should check out Bloodstain because I'm kind of always in the mood to play a good one of those games. And just today I was going back. I have Momodora Reverie Under Moonlight on my Switch, and I don't like that game very much. I played like
Which one?
an hour of it when I Momodora.
That's the one that looks real nice with all the dialogue in it.
Well, it looks really nice. It doesn't have that much dialogue in it. The dialogue is bad, but like in the kind of just like a badly translated way. But the game is just super punishing, and I don't love the way it controls. And like I've already gotten stuck. Like I don't even know how to get out of the area that I'm in. I don't know. Not a fan. I was playing it when I was on a trip, and I was also playing Hollow Knight at the same time, just for whatever the set of time. And it's a pretty rough comparison when you go back and forth between the two. Gato Roboto at least is like fun.
Gato Roboto.
It's like a fun snack.
Short, right? It's like a little bite-sized thing.
I think I finished it in 3 hours. I got almost everything.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I had to try most of the bosses that game times bad, and like it still like 7 hours to beat it. So according to the game clock, is what it is.
I thought it was really charming, and just it can. I like the controls. It's fun to play. Some of the power-ups are pretty entertaining, and it makes pretty good use of the whole in and outside of the suit bit. You know, like basically when you're out of the suit, you're just a cat, and it's kind of like having the morph ball in Metroid. You can go through small passageways, but you can't fight anything, and you can't take any damage if you're the cat. And then you can get your robot suit back at any checkpoint, and it's not like super deep, and it doesn't add a whole lot, but it's got great style, and it's just fun.
Make the screen look like a virtual boy.
I don't know why you would want to do that though.
Because you hate your eyeballs.
Red just look staring at red like that. Just yeah, I mean.
It's got the downwell thing where you
Right,
keep unlocking different color
There's
palettes.
like a ZX Spectrum palette, right, and like a
That's one
Game
of my
Boy.
favorite thing. That's like one of my favorite modern video game trends. Is weird color palette things, or like Obra Dinn had all those different monitor styles.
Yeah, it's really funny that there's been this renaissance of super low color games, and they all have this weird ability to let you select the colors.
Dig Dog, obviously.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about
Dig
Dig
Dog.
Dog. Yeah, so got to Roboto.
What did you say? You need to play what?
I need to play Obra Dinn.
Oh, it's such a good
I still
game.
need to play
Yeah,
that
I
too.
know I will love it to death, but I just haven't gotten
And
to
then-
it yet.
Some of the best sound design
There's
too.
a lot of video games these days.
There are a lot of video
It's true.
games these days.
When, as I was saying, my time just playing on.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Not only is there a lot of video games, there's a lot of games like that where you can just think hours and hours and hours.
I think my food is here.
I didn't hear that. Was that Monster Hunter?
Yes, yeah, that's been my last like 9 months.
Yeah, I have been also finding myself spending more large amounts of time with single games than I used to.
Games as service, all that jam.
All right, I'm
Well,
gonna.
that can be good if, depending on how they maintain them and whether the stuff they're adding appeals to you. I'm a little burned out on Overwatch, but I appreciated all the stuff that they've been adding to that game.
Yeah, I haven't played since they added.
You guys
Batiste?
have missed. You guys have missed 2 maps and at least a character. I think.
I saw Baptiste when there hasn't been anyone since then, has there?
No, he's the most recent. I mean, that was like 3 months ago, though.
Yeah.
All right,
There's
I'm
been a
gonna
couple of maps.
eat this sandwich. I apologize, but you're going for this long. You gotta keep the energy
You
up. so-
motherfucker! How could you eat a sandwich?
I thought the 12 hours was a video game.
Yeah, right. Sustain yourself on Contra.
Yeah, I hope you're going to go until
No
like
food,
12,
no water, no bathroom
17.
breaks.
Oh, I am because we got started late.
Drink,
But
you eat, drink, and shit Contra, Joe.
Have a pile of Contra carts that you just calm down on whenever you need some feed.
shitting Contra sounds profoundly uncomfortable.
Eat lead and shit fire.
I'm surprised there aren't any Contra characters that can do that. So once I've
Maybe in that new one.
once I've re-energized, I think I'm gonna polish off Operation C. I'm gonna beat a game.
I don't think
man.
you're ever gonna beat this game. I don't think it's too hard.
Man, I
for
beat
you.
it once this week already, so I should be able to. Anyway, and then I'm gonna do NES Contra, and we're gonna engage the betting system, and someone's gonna have to keep track for me.
Well, are you and Mike gonna play some Contra or something?
Only if it happens soon.
Yeah, that's why I was asking if you guys were gonna try and set that up.
Well, here's the problem with that.
We'll have to kick you all out of the
We have to
call
kick
if you
you
wanna
all
try that.
out of Discord because that's not the way screen sharing works. So
Yeah, so I don't think it's worth it
Okay.
to dump everyone for that. Because I don't have a ton of time at this point. And you've already played Super C, which was kind of what we were going to do.
right, yeah. So another time we will race.
What you should do is fire up Hardcore Uprising while I'm here so I can tell you why that game is so
Oh,
good.
you know what? That's a good idea. How long are you gonna be around?
Another half hour.
Okay, once I finish the sandwich, I'll switch over to that then. Then when Mike leaves, I'll do NES Contra.
Heck, you don't even have to give up on your Game Boy run. You can just suspend it.
That's true. And just switch over. Which is convenient. Mike, is D-pad... I'm trying to remember. It's been so long since I played a Hardcore Uprising. I don't remember if I used my fight pad or a regular 360 controller.
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with a D-pad. I always played it on a regular... I don't have a fight pad, so I was just using a regular 360 controller. And a lot of the time I'd use the analog sticks anyway, even for 2D games on the Xbox 360. But I mean, an Xbox... Well, yeah. I think you'd probably be happier with the fight pad. Although you do need to use the shoulder buttons for stuff like locking yourself in place. So those are in the same spots, right?
There are shoulder buttons on it, yeah. So
I can't remember if the second shoulder buttons, because there's an air dash, and there's the lock in place button, and there's the strafe button. So maybe you actually want to have good access to all 4 shoulder buttons.
All right, well, I'll start with a regular controller, and if I determine that...
If you hate your life, you can switch it over.
Yeah. Man, it's been forever since I played that game.
Me too, because I don't have that console hooked up. I keep really wanting to. Like, I think if that game was available on PC, I would buy it again. Especially if they rolled in all the DLC characters.
Yeah, I don't have any of the DLC.
I only ever bought one of them, and I didn't use her that much. I bought the Sword Lady, and it was kind of like having Strider in a Contra game.
Huh. That could be interesting.
I know, right?
What are the other DLC characters?
I don't remember. Gun Guy. Gun Lady.
Love Gun Guy and Gun Lady. They're my favorite video game characters.
I mean, this is a Contra stream, right?
Yeah.
When are they going to be in Smash? Come on.
Well, they have one person with a gun now, right?
I guess. My God.
We know Mario has a gun.
True.
I feel like we have more than one person with a gun in Smash.
I think the Persona guy was the first person who had just a straight-up gun, wasn't
I
he?
mean, Bayonetta has guns on her hands and feet.
Yeah, that's true. Got,
Feet guns are not the same.
got Scarborough Fair and...
Well, the guns in her hands, do those count? Are those the same?
Does she use those in the
Yes.
game? I don't know.
Well,
I haven't played
know.
much.
It's when you fire the gun, sometimes it alternates with the gun.
That's pretty good.
Like, play Bayonetta.
Yeah, I should at some point. It's on sale right now.
It's cheap a lot of times on Steam. Sometimes
It
it's
is
like
cheap a lot of
$5
times.
or whatever.
But if I play Bayonetta, I won't be playing the Outer Wilds.
So, oh, you should play through Outer Wilds first, then.
You should definitely play Bayonetta, though. And I say this as someone who bought a copy of Bayonetta 2. I never owned a Wii U, and I never played a copy of Bayonetta 2, and then I bought another copy of Switch.
Pretty good. I've been meaning to for about 10 years at this point.
It's
I guess
good.
that's not true. I did play Bayonetta 2.
Thanks, God.
Sorry, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, Bayonetta's great, and you don't even have to like, it's fun even if you just put it on like the simple mode and just do cool
Press
shit.
one button every once in a while.
Oh, yeah.
Check out all the wild stuff that happens. Good.
Yeah, I should. I don't know, but now that I got Outer Wilds going, I feel like I should focus on that before I forget everything. And
Stop saying Outer Wilds because I'm sad because I can't play it anymore.
Have Outer Wilds? I thought you said, like...
What's
Excuse
that?
me?
No, I do. I played through it. I finished it. And so there'd be no... I've seen all the stuff there is to see, and I'm sad that it's not...
there's no more wild for Eric.
me to- yeah.
All right.
But I love that game. It's so perfect.
I'm going to save those chips in that s'more bar
And
for
incredibly
later.
flawed.
I'm going to set up my 360. Which will only take a moment. But I guess I should suspend this game first.
It's the Switch, you can kind of do it whenever.
Yep. Well, I'm going to save. I'm going to actually do a save. And then...
Now, I'm a big fan in Hardcore Uprising of the mode where you can accumulate points and buy power-ups for your characters permanently. Because that one lets you get to the point where you start every run with a 7-way spread shot. And I have a hard time turning that down.
I can see why you'd have a hard time turning that down. That also feels like it flies in the face of traditional Contra-ness to me.
I would say this is not a very traditional Contra game.
Well, that's true.
But if you want that, you can always just play the arcade mode where you don't have any of that stuff.